Hey, my name is Ryan, and today I'm restoring this Red Wing Blacksmith boot. We're not going to focus on the sole at all. This isn't a cobbler video. The point of this video is seeing what we have around the house and see if we can really bring new life into these old boots. We'll also talk about through this whole process if you should be buying boots on eBay. I got these on eBay for 80 bucks, and I want to see what I could sell these for if I restore them. So that's the goal of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please enjoy. I want to cut off some commenters right now. I know what you're thinking. Some of you are thinking, look at this amazing patina that these boots have on them already. Don't change it, just clean them up. And that is what you should do with boots like this. I think they look gorgeous. Actually, with these, you could almost just change the laces and rock this patina and it would be awesome. But I'm trying to make content here. I'm trying to see what I can do with these. I'm trying to see if I can resell these and buy more boots to review for you guys. So what I'm focusing on is I used to restore dress shoes, and dress shoes, really, you can do a lot with them. And with a pair of work boots, you care more about the patina than it looking brand new. I want to see how good I can get these to look and hopefully maybe inspire you to do the same at home. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to totally change the camera around and we're going to go into the kitchen because that's where this is going to start. And I'm going to do things that are going to irritate you with this boot. And I'm sorry, it's just going to be the way it's going to be. But again, thank you for watching. Enjoy the video. All right, welcome to my kitchen. The first thing I'm going to do is kind of give you an overview of the boot. It is pretty good condition. It's been, worn a bunch and, it shows the patina. But what I liked about this boot and why I ended up buying it, and this is my size too, I'm just not a huge fan of black boots. I just don't have a big place in my wardrobe for a black boot, especially one with this oily type of leather that can kind of shine up. Once I get this looking more like new, it's going to be a little bit too shiny. I love black shoes for like my business casual wardrobe, but just black boots don't have a great spot in my wardrobe, so I probably will just sell these off. But what I loved about these when I saw them was the sole. The sole is in really good condition. I think these boots have a ton of life in them. And I tried them on and the footbed isn't too bad. So I could keep them. If I like them enough, I could keep them. But the first a major offensive thing in these boots is these laces, these paracord laces. They're kind of, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of them. So I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to go over the steps I'm going to take to try to make these look like maybe not brand new, but just try to bring some life into them, make them appealing to someone who may be searching on eBay for, a pair of Red Wing Blacksmith boots. And I want to also talk about, I alluded to this in the intro, but I wanted to talk about if, you should be buying boots on eBay. Is there something there for you? Is it worth it? Should you do it? Save some money. 80 bucks. They're not always going to be 80 bucks. Usually Red Wings are a little bit more than that, and that's why I bought these. And we're gonna get into that too. But the first step is taking out the laces. And look, it looks 1,000 times better. Putting black laces in these boots would just be awesome. It'd be done. You'd be fine. You're good to go. I could probably make 20 bucks on them if I sell them. So we're gonna go beyond that. And what I'm gonna do next is gonna be super, super controversial. And when I say that, of course, the caveat of it being in the boot world. But I'm going to use dish soap to clean these boots. Now, it's going to do two things for me. First of all, there's a previous owner here. I'm touching this. It's gross. The previous owner's oils and his patina is all over this boot, and that just made it sound really gross. I'm sorry about that. But I'm using dish soap is the best thing to kind of strip the boot of the oils that are on it. And while this is good for cleaning the boot, it's controversial because what I'm actually going to be doing is stripping some of the oils that the boot had in it when it was tanned at the tannery. And that could be damaging. Now, I've done this before, so I'm not afraid of doing it. And I can also restore the boot. I can also put some of those oils, the ones that I want back into the boot, in there. So I'm not too worried about it. But especially like the footbed, the inside, I mean, this is full of someone else's DNA. I want to remove that, start fresh. But it's not something I can really recommend all the time because you're going to be stripping the oil out of the boots and it's going to dramatically change the leather and how it was tanned. So just a caveat to that, I've done that with Red Wings copper rough and tough leather, and it came to me almost this dark. I mean, it was so dark because people have stuffed it with oils. I used dish soap to get rid of those oils, and I got it back to almost that original look, and then I could add oils into it to control the look. But that's just what we're going to do first. And there's other things you could use here. You could use saddle soap. That will also strip it of some oils. You could try other cleaners that would be a little bit more, easy on the leather. But for this case, that's what we're doing. And so all I'm gonna do is use some warm water here. Actually, I'm gonna douse this boot in water. And again, this seems kind of crazy, but I want it.
A boot is made to be in water. Come on, guys. This isn't that great. Some will think it's a crude, but this boot was made to trek in water and to get soaking wet. The leather can handle it, and it's all natural. We do the glues can't handle it that well, but so be it. Get this completely soaked, ready to go, and then put some old-fashioned dish detergent on here. We're gonna go down.
So I'll start with the upper just because it's more satisfying to watch. And we're going to strip it. Now it's going to pull the oils out of the welt too, and that's a little bit more scary because the welt is fragile and it's a key part of keeping the boot together. But again, I can add those oils back into it, but I want to just go over the boot all together. And so while I'm doing this, let's talk a little bit about eBay. Should you buy a boot on eBay? And the long story short is, yeah, I think it's great. If you're wanting to see how you size in a boot and they don't offer returns, that's a way to kind of see. And then if you get it for a good enough deal, you're going to be able to re-list it on eBay, and you can probably get out of it if it doesn't work out for you. But then you are selling something online and you have to deal with that, which most of the guys that I've encountered who are looking for boots, especially in my own size, like that matters at all. I'm feeling like an idiot for saying that, but they're pretty nice guys. They're just trying to get a nice boot at a good price on eBay. It's not like you're selling something on Facebook Marketplace and having people, stand you up all the time and dealing with that. But it's a good way to, try out a boot, try out something that you might not want to, pay full price for, and see what you can get. Now, there's a huge caveat to that, and that's going to be with the different style of boots and how they're made. So as you know, likely, since you clicked on this video, Red Wing uses a thick veg can insole that molds to your foot. So a lot of people go, well, that's like the gamble of it. If it molded to the other person's foot, is it going to work for me? And that is a gamble. Now, if you know your sizing in a boot, usually it's okay, because our feet are shaped very similar. If you're an odd bird, that's okay. It might not work for you. But for me, I've purchased several boots and I've been fine with the footbed. It's almost like the footbed is pre-broken in. I know my sizing really well with Red Wing. It's 12D. So if I buy a 12D, and it's the case with these, my foot fits right in that guy's footprint and it's not a big deal. Now, that's not always going to happen. You're going to have people who have weird feet. Man, did not think I was going to say that this video. But you're going to have people with weird feet, and it's going to make a weird impression, and you're going to have to resell it. That's the gamble you take. So, don't pay a ton of money for these boots, but it is worth this. The other thing was Red Wing is, so, for instance, the counter argument to that is you could buy a 1,000-mile boot, a Wolverine 1,000-mile boot, for pretty cheap. I've seen them as low as $100 in really good condition. Now, they don't use that thick leather veg tan insole, so you can just buy it and put another insole in it and see what you think. For $100, you're getting into a really nice heritage style boot that you can, resole if it works out. So I do think it is a great way to get into a boot, but that's just my opinion. So now the outside's clean mostly. I'm going to go in for that inside because that's where we got really a lot of the old powders stuff is in there. And again, just, it's just going everywhere with the dish soap. It's going to pull out those oils. It's going to extract those oils and give you a nice clean look too. So I do think you should do it. You can. It's definitely not something I would recommend if you're like trying to make money. Not with boots. The work you're going to go through to just make $30 because eBay takes its fees. Any online seller is going to take its fees. you're not going to make any money doing this. This is not for that. This is for buying for yourself, getting into a boot that maybe you wouldn't be able to afford to normally, or um, or or what, right? I can't do something and talk at the same time. I want to apologize about this. The video's probably been terrible, but you who are still watching, I love you. You are awesome. Thanks so much for sticking through this with me, because I am one of the worst boot content creators out there, but I have some of the best viewers. So thanks. All right. So kind of, I'm going to scrub that. I'm not going to do that boot on camera because I don't have that much to talk about. But basically, I'll now get all that oil, or get all that, soap out of there. And it's going to need to dry. Going to need to dry for a while now, but it's already looks really good. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing. My one last thing is I'm going to put a little bit of, and the welt on this boot you can see has darkened quite a bit. It has natural welt, which you can, it gives you more of a two-tone look. I want to try to restore that look back to the boot. So I'm going to go over this welt again and just really scrub. Oh man, I'm about to make a lot of people mad. Be right back. This is my suede brush. I'm going to use this suede brush to almost sand that welt down. I mean, don't do this. Don't do as I do. Just use a normal brush. But I'm going to see if I can scrub a little bit more life into that welt. And I'm probably scratching the upper leather too a little bit, which isn't great, but let's just see. Let's just see what happens. I've said this a couple of times. Let's just, have some fun on these videos. This is not a serious industry or a serious thing. Boots are fun. Most of us who are watching this don't even need a boot for our work. We just like it. So let's just have fun. Enjoy the community. Enjoy all the content creators. And let's just have fun. No hate comments, Just have fun. Remember, I'm the Bob Ross of Boot World, so we're having a good time here. So I'm going to just soak that again. You're not going to see much of a change right now, but that boot is clean. And so, again, what I suggest is just letting this dry somewhere, letting this sit, air dry. Of course, I'm not going to listen to my own advice, but I'm going to put a shoe tree in there, a solid shoe tree. And this is just going to help kind of flatten out, get rid of the bump. Oops, sorry about that. Get rid of, sometimes with Red Wing especially, there's a huge spring in toe, and which is great. But again, we're trying to get these to look more like they did from the Red Wing factory when they originally were made. And so I'm going to add that. We're going to put the tongue in. Remember, everything's going to dry the way you've had it last. So I'm going to put the tongue in, kind of stand up the sides, make it look good. And we're going to let this bad boy dry. I probably will wipe it off just because I see some residual soap there, and I don't want any soap to sit on there long term. But there you have it. The next time I see you guys and gals will be when this is dry. I've let them dry a day, and all I've done off camera was hit them with a brush just because there was loose stuff on them. And I burned some of the loose threads. Aggressively washing a boot, you'll get some loose threads with that. So here's what they look like. Now, it's looking a little bit better. It looked really bad before I brushed them. Brushing it brings back some of the oils, but now I've cleared this boot of all the oils that are going to be in it from the previous owner, and I can kind of move on and add my own oils into it and control how I want to do it. One thing I will show you too is the inside looks really nice. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's clear of all the oils from inside the boot too. So it just gives it a nice fresh footbed for it to sit on. And when you take the boot or the shoe trees out of the boot, it stays, it stays like that. So it's giving it more life. There isn't as much of a toe spring. Now, some people want toe springs, so you can easily introduce that. That will come back fairly quickly after you wear the boots a couple of times. But for now, it's kind of nice just to reset the boot. So what my plans are to do is I want to put Big Four on the welt because the welt needs to be rehydrated. It lightened up quite a bit, but I want to be able to make sure it doesn't darken up too much. If I put Big Four on here, that will help. And then I want to put Venetian shoe cream on the uppers. Now, I've got a lot of different conditioners. I just picked Venetian shoe cream because it's cheap on Amazon, so it's easy to get if you're wanting to do this yourself. I mean, I have better ones like Saphir that would get more of a shine, but this is like a great all-around shoe cream, so I really like this stuff. And we'll put that on the uppers, and we'll talk a little bit more about what to look for when you are going to buy some used boots off of eBay. So we'll start off with the Big Four. I've shook it aggressively before, and I'm just going to put it on the welt so that welt can soak up the oils and kind of rehydrate because that is going to be important. Now it's darkening up like crazy right now, so that's a little bit disappointing, but that will dry too over the course of a day. The welt will dry out a little bit more and it will lighten up because I want that contrast because it just makes the boot look fresher. It makes the boot look a little bit newer when you have that welt contrast. I mean, a lot of guys who are going to rock a black boot like this, they might want a dark welt. So you could take like neat's foot oil and put it on the welt, and that would darken it up quite a bit and give you the desired look. But one of the things I've looked for when I bought boots on eBay to resell or even to have for myself is how the stitching is on the sole of the shoe. So as you can see, it's pretty good here. This is what made me buy this shoe. The stitching was really nice. Get some of that goop off there, and it's going to be able to use for a long time now. The cork nitrile sole that they have that doesn't have the mini lugs, it will wear quicker. And then soles that are like lug soles that have the stitch through it, those will wear super quick. I think my white's mini lugged boots that I had the stitching go through the lug, it wore in like a week, and the boot wasn't even broken in yet, which is okay because the stitching is just there to hold it until the glue dries, really. But that just kind of shows you how much the boot is worn because sometimes, one bad day in a rainstorm can make a boot look trash. But if the stitching is fairly well worn, the sole is very, looking good, then it might be the right thing to buy. And also the heel strike. So the heel strike is going to tell you a lot about a boot too. And this boot has, it's got a little bit. You can see the curve up here, but it was enough that I thought it wasn't worn that much. So I went with it. And I think it's good. It fits me perfectly. The footprint's awesome. So I could keep this if I want, or I could sell them and see what someone will pay me. But let's get to conditioning the upper with the Venetian. And this is not a how-to. I don't want to make this a how-to. I just take care of my boots, but I'm not a boot expert. I'm not a conditioning expert. I just want to see what I can get out of these. And I'm just going to liberally apply the Venetian to the leather. This is going to rehydrate the leather. I might put some black shoe cream on this boot. I'm not quite sure. We'll see how it looks once it buffs out. But what I'm thinking is it's going to look pretty good with just getting it rehydrated, especially with Venetian shoe cream. It does seem to get into the pores pretty well. And I know this is it's almost like a T-core, so it has a black coating on top. And I've been asked, you have a leather like this, how is the conditioning going to seep through? Well, it does. Even a leather that has a pigmented top layer still has pores, and this stuff will get through those pores. It doesn't seem to make sense. It's like taking a piece of wooden furniture that's been painted and trying to, add something on top. It doesn't really make sense, but it is something that works with leather because it is a skin. And ooh, oh my gosh, you see that? That's bushly. I got way too much. I'm gonna have to use some of this on my other boot. But that's all I want to talk about now. I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna clean up this catastrophe and condition the other boots off camera. Then next time you see this, this will be dried and I will buff it and see how we're looking. Friends don't let friends film and condition at the same time. It's just, I don't know, it's too difficult for me or so. All right, this is a bonus. This is a little bit of a bonus. I've got this, raw leather laces, and I think I expressed how much I didn't like the laces that these came with, and of course not from Iron Rangers, those were from the eBay seller. but I want to get them to look a little bit more like the welt here, kind of that two-tone look, you have with rawhide laces. But I'm thinking, neat's foot oil, if you saw my Grant Stone boot conditioning video, it darkens leather the most. So what I'm hoping is if I just kind of soak this in neat's foot oil, I'm going to get a color closer to this, which will make it look really nice with the boot. So let's try that out. I'm just going to put that in. Okay, that's as far as I can get it in. Now, as I pull it out, and this is risky business because if I spill this, it's going to be a huge mess. I'm going to kind of hold that around. So as I pull it out, I'll hold on to the bottle and I'm hopefully going to be, you know, drying it off so it's not so oily. Perfect. It's still pretty oily, but we can work with that. Okay. Do is I pull out a lot of oil there. I might need another. Let's let's use another one here. We'll do the same thing. Beautiful. All right, so I think I got what I wanted there. Looks pretty close. I think that will look a lot nicer on this boot as a lace anyway. So hey, bonus tip. And giving the boots plenty of time to dry for that Venetian shoe cream to dry and get into all the pores. So now we get to do the most satisfying part of this whole experiment and brush them. And we'll do that on camera. This is going to be awkward, but I want you to see how this will bring up a sheen for this boot. It's like instantly too. It's so satisfying. The leather just desperately needed some nourishment. Just a quick little bit of buffing there. Look at that. That looks really good. I'm not going to need any shoe cream on this boot. All right, I'm going to finish buffing it. It's just way too awkward for me to do this and try to get the right shot. And then I will install the laces and we'll see how these turned out. There you have it, all finished up. I mean, this looks really good. I love how the laces turned out. It doesn't match perfectly, but it matches enough. There's a lot of luster that the Venetian shoe cream gives the boot, and it looks pretty good. Some maybe don't want that much shine, but I don't know. I kept going with it, and it looks really good. So I did butt this with a microfiber because that gives you a little bit more shine. If you just use the horsehair brush, it'll be a little bit duller. But I think these look great. I'm super happy with them. I think it's a fun little project to do. You're not going to make money doing this. I bought these for $80 online. The total with shipping and everything and taxes was 92. I'll probably be able to sell these for 150 on eBay and they'll take their cut and that will, I'll probably make what, like 30 bucks really. So it's not worth it making money, but to get your own boot, absolutely. This is a super solid boot. The shoe trees are not in these. So this is how the natural the natural spring came back a little bit, but it looks pretty good. Looks pretty fresh, looks pretty nice there. So it's been fun. I think doing these type of projects, keeping this boot in rotation, keeping it on someone's feet instead of it just dying in Goodwill or dying in some landfill, I think is nice. And these boots will have a lot of life left in them and hopefully someone will get them. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this type of content is like my legacy content. I started with this type of content, but with dress shoes. Didn't get a lot of likes. I unboxed a pair of Truman boots and I got a ton of views. And so I kind of went on the boot thing because I already had a good amount of boots and you guys just like to watch boot videos. So let me know if you like these little easy restoration projects with boots and I'll keep them coming. If not, they're kind of a lot of work. It's kind of easier to just buy a new boot and unbox it. But all kidding aside, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.